You know, this would have been more relevant if this was the year of the pig or the year of the dog, but I think it's the year of the dragon, so we're missing the mark here.
This is SportsCentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and we've officially made it to 2024. Happy New Year once again. And it's not only the new year, but it's also a dawn of a new era on the ice, as the PWHL made its highly anticipated debut today on TSN. New York and Toronto getting the honor of being the first teams to take the ice, and the ladies were in for a treat, as legend herself, Billie Jean King, was in the building. Not only did she announce Toronto's starting lineup in the dressing room, but she also dropped the puck for the ceremonial face-off with Jayna Hefford. And so it was time to get the show on the road before a little history midway through the first.
Carpenter, and she'll take the draw on New York, wins in Shelton with her stick on that, and she gets it! Ella Shelton scores! History is hers! The first goal of the Professional Women's Hockey League.
New York strikes first as Ingersoll, Ontario's Ella Shelton fires it through a crowd and in for the first goal in PWHL history. That scoreline stayed the same through 2 periods, and even Toronto's own social team getting a little frustrated with their struggles to score in the second. But this isn't what Toronto had in mind. Less than 3 minutes into the third, Alex Carpenter flying down the wing, and she goes top shelf on Kristen Campbell. Her second point of the game is an absolute snipe and doubles New York's lead. Just 2 minutes later, Jade Downey-Landry spots Jill Saulnier, and she makes no mistake. Another beauty from New York as they start to run away with it. And Toronto's Twitter account asking for mercy at this point, but it would not come. And New York would actually add another and go to take this one 4-0, earning the first victory in PWHL history. And remember, the PWHL lives here on TSN, as we've got another game coming your way tomorrow night. Marie-Philippe Poulin in Montreal visit Brianne Jenner and her squad in our nation's capital. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. We just had a wild week in the NFL conclude, and we've got our last regular season week coming up, which is so exciting. Last week, a number of things were solved on the gridiron and a number of teams were eliminated, and there's still some that are staying alive. So as we head into week 18, here's everything we know and everything you need to know. In the AFC, there are still 3 playoff spots up for grabs, and a ton of chaos awaits. Baltimore's beatdown of Miami locked up the 1 seed, and a likely second MVP for quarterback Lamar Jackson. The Ravens star had a perfect passer rating in dissecting the Dolphins, and he's now tied for the most games in NFL history, with 3 games with a perfect passer rating. Coincidentally, the last time the road to the Super Bowl ran through Baltimore, Lamar also won MVP back in 2019, but he's looking for a longer playoff run than last time, to say the least. As for the rest of the AFC, here are some scenarios to keep an eye out for. The AFC East is on the line in Miami, as the Bills take on the Dolphins in prime time. Buffalo has won the division the last 3 years in a row, but if the Dolphins win, it would be their first AFC crown since 2008, and just their second since 2000. In the AFC South, if the Jags beat the Titans, they win the division. But if they lose, the winner of the Colts and Texans not only clinch a playoff berth, but they'd win the South. It's crazy that one of those teams with a rookie QB and a first-year head coach are going to make it to the postseason. Lastly, the Steelers are arguably in the best spot, because they face a Ravens team that might rest its starters, and all they need is a win or a Bills or Jags loss to get in. But even if they don't, Mike Tomlin has kept his unreal streak of finishing the season with a winning record alive. Over to the NFC now, the 49ers are the 1 seed, but the Eagles' loss to the Cardinals made everything more interesting. Philly basically blew the division title and 2 seed, which belongs to the Cowboys right now, and they'll keep it with a win over Washington. Despite losing big to the Saints, the Bucs are in a win-and-you're-in scenario, as they lock up the AFC South by beating the Panthers. But if they lose, then the winner of Saints-Falcons would clinch the division. And finally, if the Packers can beat the Bears, they'd make the playoffs, which is wild considering everything that's gone on in Green Bay so far this season. So the final week of the regular season begins Saturday with a crucial double dip. First, the Steelers will fight for their playoff lives against the rival Ravens, and that will be followed by the Texans and Colts in a win-and-you're-in scenario. Coverage will begin at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN, and the week will be capped off by arguably the biggest game of the season, in the Sunday nighter on TSN and CTV when the Dolphins host the Bills. The winner will clinch the AFC East, while a loss for Buffalo could actually see them eliminated if Pittsburgh, Houston, and Jacksonville win. Time now for my favorite segment and yours, We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
Former Blue Jay Edwin Jackson had a remarkable career spanning 17 seasons, beginning with a victory on his 20th birthday for the Dodgers, and ending in 2019, which he split between the Jays and Tigers, with his official retirement coming in 2022. In between that, Jackson was an All-Star in 2009, threw a no-hitter in 2010, won a World Series in 2011, and earned a silver medal at the Olympics in 2020. But he's maybe most known for his MLB record for suiting up for 14 teams across the big leagues. Which begs the question, does he actually remember them all?
Started off with the Dodgers, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Arizona, the White White Sox. From the White Sox, I went to St. Louis.
Yeah.
From St. Louis, I went to the Nationals.
Yes, sir.
From the Nationals, I went to the Cubs. From the Cubs, I went to the Braves. From the Braves, I went to San Diego.
Nah.
Oh, Miami.
Yeah.
Miami, San Diego.
Yeah, also 16.
To Baltimore for a little bit. That's always my tricky one. The A's?
Well, first half of 17 was Baltimore.
Yeah, then I went to the A's.
Not the A's.
Give me the year.
2017.
2017.
This is when my friend asked for a ball in Spanish. Back half of 2017.
Oh, I went back to D.C.
Yeah.
I went back to D.C. I had to think about 17. I went back to D.C.
Yeah.
And then I went to Oakland. Then I went to Toronto. Then I went to Detroit.
Hell yeah.
The definition of a journeyman ball player. I love it. Ahead of their quarterfinal matchup with Czechia, Canada had an off day at the World Juniors after their tense game against Germany yesterday to close out the preliminary round. But you'd think it'd be our buddies Jesse and Corwin who were the most stressed after that game, because apparently they needed to unwind and de-stress with go-karts? Take it away, guys.
What up, DSC? We got the off day today. We're go-karting. We gotta keep it light. Yeah, this place is actually really sick.
You can see people are just buzzing around this place right now. Pretty big track. Kind of cool. Lots of drifts.
Not gonna lie, Corwin's been a little quicker on the pedal than me today. He advanced to the higher heat, but maybe I'll see him in the final. Jesse's leading his heat, so he's got a lot of pressure. He's the #1 spot in the heat, so. What do we know, guys? I thrive on pressure, okay? Always have.
Corwin! No, Corwin!
Corwin with a spin out on the first lap. I'm not one to talk, but
Corwin absolutely ripping here. Let's go, Corwin! Look at that drift! Look at that drift! Look at this guy. Ripping. Oh, Corwin! The guy's pissed. The guy is pissed about that swerve out. Corwin, not the result we wanted. Better than me, but not the result we wanted.
a couple cheap finishes for a couple cheap loaves. A couple L's. L's in the loaf department, L's on the track, but we gave it our all, man. We did our best. Back to you, sir.
And you know what? There's actually an electric go-kart track just around the corner here from where I am in Saskatoon, so I feel like I need to best their time. I can't. It's too late. God. Why didn't I know this ahead of time? And remember, the knockout phase for the World Juniors begins early tomorrow morning, with all 4 quarterfinal matchups taking place, beginning at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific with Slovakia and Finland. That's followed by the big game between Canada and Czechia as part of a quadruple dip, and remember, all games are available on TSN. Okay, time now for one of our newest segments that we debuted just a couple weeks ago. And during my week off, you know I had some catching up to do on my stories. Mel Bridges is one of the few stars in the NBA that doesn't need any load management. He's the NBA's modern-day Iron Man. He's played in every game of his NBA career without taking a night off. That's 425 consecutive games since his debut back in 2018 with the Suns. In fact, he hasn't actually missed a game since his junior year in high school. So his personal streak is now closer to 600 games. Now he's still well off the NBA record held by AC Green, who played in just shy of 1,200 straight games. But Bridges recently revealed what his secret recipe might be, and maybe he can ride it all the way to the record.
I eat this every day, and it's been about, how many years since I've been eating Chipotle? Since 2013-14, so about 10 years. Still been on it heavy to this day. I have friends and family that teases me a little bit about it. It's too fire, and I have it every single time, so they don't disappoint. I love to take a bite. Okay, fire. So my bowl order, I get white rice, no beans, double chicken, medium and mild salsa, corn and lettuce. Oh, I used to get the hot salsa. I don't know if y'all know that hot salsa. I don't know what they did to it in this past couple years, but I'll just take one bite. I'll just be like, just chugging water, and it still ain't helping. It'll just be like painful eating a bowl. You know, I felt soft because I love spicy food, and I'm just like, bro, I've been eating this hot sauce for all these years. Rest in peace to the hot sauce.
I appreciate the call on the hot sauce, it's true. It's gotten way too hot. I like the mix of mild and medium though. I haven't tried that yet. I will do it. I've just been doing mild. Get this guy a sponsorship. He sells. And we've got a great game in the association for you tonight. It's the rematch of that heated in-season tournament semifinal between Tyrese Halliburton's Pacers and the Bucks. See if anything comes from all that drama from Giannis' stolen game ball. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN2. That's it for me today. Julie will be filling in tomorrow as I travel back to Toronto. I'll see you Wednesday. Have a good one.